everyone, I'm Olivia.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're Drivin and Vibin.
Today we're continuing our Monday Q&A series about RV life, and we're bringing it to you from Indian Bread Rocks here in southern Arizona.
It is a beautiful location out here, if you can't tell, with all these giant rock formations behind us. And we haven't really gotten to explore much yet because it was raining when we got set up yesterday. So hopefully we can do that a little bit more today, but it looks promising so far.
And we also thought it would be a great opportunity to discuss a question we got from a YouTube viewer this week. And she asks, how do we choose a boondocking site?
Yeah, so the first step for us is researching and reading reviews from other campers who have been here before us, and it gives us a really good idea of what we're going into and what the campsite's really like.
We found this one on Campendium, but we also like to use freecampsites.net, and it's awesome to read the reviews, and we also think it's important to leave reviews after you stay at a site.
Definitely, and we'll link to a video below of how we find free camping and all the resources we use to find that.
So one of the most important aspects of choosing this site is the initial location of it.
Yeah, we have to decide whether we want to be off in a beautiful scenic location or near town and have access to amenities.
Next is internet, and this is so important to us because we are full-time RVers. If you're just a weekend camper or taking a quick trip to the country, internet might not be that important, but for us, it is essential.
Yes, we need it to run our business and to stay in touch with family and friends, and so it's really nice to have internet access wherever we are. The reviews usually help us out with that. People tell us whether or not they got T-Mobile or AT&T there, so that's really important.
And accessibility is another important thing about finding a site. We're pretty small and we can get into a lot of sites, but even some for us are restrictive because of major dips in the road or 4x4 needed. And even though we have 4x4, some of these roads can get really rough.
Yeah, some of these roads are dirt roads, and if there's been bad weather lately, there can be washouts and things like that. So it's good to try to figure out how accessible the road is to get to the camping spot.
And it's a good idea if you're in a larger rig or you're kind of uncertain, just to park outside of the entryway and do a walkthrough real quick, because walking through, even though it might take a little extra energy and time, can save you some hassle down the way.
And another thing we like to consider when choosing a site is the privacy. Are we going to be right next to someone? Are we going to have space to spread out and kind of do our own thing and have some peace and quiet? And sometimes you can't really know until you get there because you don't know how many people might be camped at the location, but it's also helpful in the reviews as well if it's a popular spot or not.
Yeah, the most rural sites can have still a handful of campers there. We like to stay at least 50 yards away from other people. If at all possible, 100 is preferable. But, you know, you just can't always stay that far away if it's a popular site.
Yeah, definitely. And so once we get to our camping location, we try to find an established site. And so that would be a place where it looks like someone has camped before. Maybe there's a fire ring. And that way we don't have to disturb the natural area any more than possible and use places that have already been used before.
And finding a level spot is also pretty important. Most of the established sites are already going to be semi-level, but it's hard to get comfy if your camper's not balanced out.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely where walking around and kind of just driving around and scouting out the sites helps out. The last thing we usually try to consider, but not always if it's not possible, is whether or not our solar is in a good position or not.
Yeah, we want to catch some rays. We only have 2 solar panels on top, but it is essential to charge the battery and to keep everything functional that we're getting maximum rays. But sometimes in the summertime, it is just super nice to park under a shade tree, and you got to make that sacrifice sometimes.
Yep, or there might be certain formations around you or just ways that it's just not really that possible, so you have to decide whether or not you want to keep that site or move to a spot with better access to the rays.
So after the initial research and pulling into a boondocking location, everything is really left up to personal preference. These are the ways that we have found the best campsites for us, but feel free to explore the options and find your best boondocking location.
We've definitely had to do some trial and error before. Just try a few things out. You don't have to be stuck to one spot, and you can always move.
And moving is the best option if you're unsatisfied. Don't stick around just because you're there. Get out and be somewhere where you're comfortable so you can enjoy the experience.
Yeah, so we'd love to hear your guys' stories of finding camping spots, any tips and tricks you have that you might want to share with other people, or maybe things you learned along the way that didn't work out so well.
So give this a thumbs up if it helped out, share with your boondocking friends, and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye, guys.